Okay, Pat, this is your feed-through, and I figured I talk to you about this instead of writing emails back and forth trying to explain how you're going to connect it. And the connection is pretty simple, so this video is going to be pretty quick. So as you can see, this is your replacement port plate. And I know it's a little bit crowded, but with what we had to work with, I think we came up with a pretty good solution. So what's going to happen is that you're going to start out with something along the lines of this that is connected like so on your chamber. So essentially what you're going to need to do is you're going to have to remove, unscrew all of these screws to actually remove this plate. This is our standard plate that we use on our standard chambers. And then what you will have to do is essentially take this guy and then run your wires. Now, this is our latest revision, which is more of a slotted piece. Your plate has essentially 3 holes that correspond concentrically with these 3 holes that we've modified on our plate. So what you'll do is you will go ahead and run the wires, of course, through your hole through here like so. And then run this guy and place it in there. And so you're going to have, here we go, if that's for better visibility. And then, of course, you're going to have to screw, put the screws back in there into these 12 countersunk holes. You may have to actually, here and here, you may have to actually remove this bulkhead clamp, which is fine. It's only 6 screws, as you can see, on this bulkhead clamp. So you may have to remove it in order to bring the screws into this countersunk hole here and here. You could also probably leave it out as long as you make sure that you have the other 10 screws, fully tightened into the remaining holes. But it's always nice and elegant to have everything, to have the force evenly distributed. So one thing I wanted to also show you is that, I'm going to put this back here, is that, so instead of having this plate where you have a venting valve, a vacuum valve, and a vacuum gauge, essentially on this plate, nice and evenly spread, you're going to have everything now coming through this node, through this port. So you're going to have a vacuum gauge, you have a vacuum valve or venting valve, and you have your vacuum or venting valve. So these 2 valves are essentially have been moved onto one single port. Then you're going to have a feed-through, and this is your hydraulic feed-through through the center. And you're going to connect your hydraulic line from here, and then of course connect it through here as it comes out from the top wall of your chamber, like so. It's going to be sticking out. And then you have your cross, which is a NW quick flange 25 cross. And then you have your power feed-through, power vacuum feed-through, and your 2-pair thermocouple feed-through. And to actually connect your thermocouple wires, you'll just have to undo this clamp, and you'll notice that there's a centering ring and a clamp. And then you're going to have to connect your thermocouple leads, LML and ChromL thermocouple leads onto the corresponding wires. And I don't think this is visible here, but if you look closely, one of these tips is going to be rounded and the other one is going to be flat, and that's going to correspond to whether it's LML or ChromL. I don't know on top of my head, so you're just going to have to check. And so you essentially just connect these the quick connectors on this side, and then also connect it through this side, and then you essentially just run these wires through this hole. I don't know if you can see it. You can run these wires through this hole. Here we go. And just into your chamber. And it's going to be vacuum sealed perfectly vacuum sealed, hermetically sealed, and you're going to be able to essentially power your press, and you're going to be able to have 2 pairs of thermocouples to measure the temperature, and of course you're going to have your hydraulic line to actuate the press, and then of course your vacuum operations are going to be on here. Like I said, I know it's a little bit crowded, but we kind of worked with what we had, and I think it's going to work out just fine. It's going to work out pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up, and we're going to go ahead and send this over your way. And you have my email address, you have my phone number. So if you run into any questions or any feedback, let me know. And thank you very much. Thank you very much for your business, and thank you very much for letting us work with you and letting us design this wonderful plate for you. All right, you have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.